And what we are proposing is that if we force people who hold important offices in this country, people who make decisions on all issues, money, to use the public services, then the public services will be better. That is actually the theory we have about this. But I think the bigger thing is to look at the ethos of the country. Services, education, and health actually reflect what the integrity of the situation of the country and the ethos of the people are. That's where it starts. If we really meant it, we don't need this. We just have to say, we all members of parliament, from now on, we are going to use public services as bad as they are. So do we need a law? Or do we need a motion? We start by actually looking at ourselves. It is true that in the 70s, it's not really the 80s, it is the 70s and a little bit into the 80s, public services were the best. Somebody said that it's true. I admitted ministers in Kenyatta National Hospital. Public universities have been the best. Now that is changing in our own eyes as we are seeing. Public schools have been the best when you are going to secondary, to high school. Only people who didn't do well went to private schools. Because public schools were the standard bearers. Public schools were the standard bearers. Universities are trying, but it is going while we are watching. So the history is that we can do it. But what has changed? What has changed is actually governance and the way we think about our country. Health services, why somebody said, why is it not possible that government public hospitals work? Health services are complex. You think of finance, human resource, infrastructure, the buildings, equipment, commodities that go in, but above all, the management. You can have all that. But if the ethos of our management is self first, it will not happen. I know the time when all the IV fluids in this country were actually being produced in Kenyatta, a public facility. I can remember the time when it was said that that is not the function of the hospital, give it to the private sector. We are struggling with the same thing with oxygen now. Again, we think it is the private sector. So I think as a country, what we first of all deal with is to be sincere as leaders that what we are saying is what we would like to do. Right now, we are focusing so much on financing health care. And therefore, we have brought the issue of SHA to replace NHF. I can tell you, over the weekend I was in my constituency and I was talking to border people, and they all told me that NHIF was better than SHA. That's what they were saying. But what is the issue there? It's because SHA, by design, should actually be better. It has 3 funds. But we actually started in a bit of a hurry and lost out on public confidence. I'm now chairing the health committee. I'm still going slow and looking. I'm not talking much these days because I want to see what exactly is happening. If we mean that we want to improve it, it will. But if you are saying it because we want to, as public relations, it won't work. And I want to say in this country at political level, we must cut out public relations, talk less, and start working and have services to work. Why did SHA start with the problem? Because there are 3 funds, but in a hurry, we started with 1 fund to take care of 3 funds. It is now we are actually putting in the second and the third fund. But what about how we manage the human resource? Look at the transition. We are moving back and forth. Now you are all NHF staff are going to share. Now they are not going. Now they are going at this. We must be consistent and move in an orderly manner. Forget about public relations. If it is good, it will look good. Don't keep saying it is good, we want to do good. Just let good be done. As chair of the health committee, I'm in the process of learning. I'm not talking yet. There's a process of learning. But I think the most important thing, we can have all the resources we need, but do we mean it? What carries the day when we are running services? Is it politics or business? If business and politics carry the day, our health services will not improve. That is really where the problem is. As leaders, we must have integrity. We must cut out public relations and just do what needs to be done. So this, in principle, is good and can be popular. But let's look at the other element. Can you really force people with the constitutions you have today to actually use public facilities against their will? So the Speaker just asked whether that can be done. So I think this is a good debate we should have, and I support the debate. The motion, we can pass it, but if you really want to go, then there will be even human rights issues in it. So what I think we need to do as leaders, we find ourselves, is deep inside us. This money we have put everywhere. Let's look at education. Amze asked me over the weekend, you people are telling us there is no money for university. Now all of us know there are ambassadors everywhere to raise money for kids going to university. And we said we are going to fund university education. Amze asked me, you people are telling us there is no money, and you are going with these aeroplanes. He asked me, how much does a helicopter take to hire in a day? I said about 500 million per day. And he said, my child needs just about 100 or 100,000 shillings. One helicopter in one day will pay for 10 kids' university throughout. So there are issues we need to look at. So we can do it as a country. The design of SHA, if we leave out politics, we leave out business, and we look at the facts of the matter and listen to professionals. Politicians should guide the country and let professionals do the work. That is what will bring change. Not that we say this, at the same time we are looking at business, how we will make benefit when drugs come. Look, KEMSA has a problem, and most of the bills KEMSA has is in government. County governments owe KEMSA about over 2 billion shillings. National government, the ministry of itself, owes KEMSA money. And now we have given KEMSA 1.5 billion. But if we don't, we owe it 3 billion, but we are giving it 1.5. If we just paid that. So I think this is a good bill. It is raising issues that we should look at. But the thing we need is to be sincere as leaders and look at what is good for our people. Then it will work. Health can be improved. It was working before. Public sector was working in health, in education, in everything. We can do it. Let's change the politics. The politics of pursuing power and not caring what people are getting. That is where we are failing. Mr. Speaker, I say this is possible, but let's look at the politics of the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dr.Nyikal, because you told us before that the SHA was part of your brainchild. You've told us in this house before. I was wondering, if you want to have this policy, this just one matter that you do and this works. Scrap all private insurance for public officers. If you did that, then everyone reverts to public. Members, join me welcoming children from Kamwimbi Primary School, Chuka Gamangombe constituency, Tharaka-Nithi County. They are sitting in the speaker's gallery and they are welcome to follow proceedings this afternoon. Member for Endebess. And after the member for Endebess, this is how my list looks like. There's Honorable Martin Owino, Honorable Nyamai, Honorable Zamzam, Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi, and then Harold Omondi, like that. So I will follow it. You remember, I just request your patience so that everyone gets their chance to have a say on this. The member for Mgwen, you don't have a card today. You have to get a card.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion. The Honorable Sabina Cheke puts it that therefore the House resolves that the government through the Ministry of Health, because that's our prayer, implements the Kenya Universal Health Coverage Policy 2020 to 2030 and introduce a policy on mandatory use of public health care facilities by all civil servants, public officers, and state officers in the country. I think that is the gist of the motion. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, she has no card. But
the Honorable Member for Endebess.
Yes.
The move of the motion says she has a point of order.
Yeah,
what is out of order? Sit down. Take your seat. What is out of order? The member for.
Mr. Speaker, I noticed and I shared with the clerk about the end of that statement, and I know that's where Honorable Member is going to, that the government through the Ministry of Health implements the Kenya Universal Health Coverage Policy 2020-2030 and introduce a policy on mandatory use of public health care facilities by all civil servants, public officers and state officials who, that one I noticed was missing in our order paper, and I told her, who are using medical cover catered for by the government of Kenya. That one was missing, Mr. Speaker, and I shared with the clerk at the desk. So, and I want to make a clarification, the public officers and state officers who are using medical cover catered for by the government